So, according to Marlon Humphrey, and since confirmed, Lamar Jackson joining the Ravens for mandatory minicamp. Charles Robinson, what does this mean for contract negotiations, which have been mysterious to say the least to this point?
I don't know that it necessarily. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it necessarily means anything's changed. I haven't heard anything as far as contract negotiations changing. I mean, it means he showed up, and I saw he put out, he's walking off the field, and I don't know if it was on Insta or where he did it, but I saw a video from Lamar basically saying, "You ready for the season? I know I am." That's good for the franchise. There's no question that that's a positive development for the Ravens. But like I said, as far as what I had heard up until today, that there was no change in the contract negotiations, and he's in the fold, he's ready to go, and the mystery remains. But I think if he's in the facility and he's going to play and he's there, that's all they care about right now. So that's a good thing, I guess. It's a positive for Baltimore.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's better than the alternative. But I guess, sort of, Michael, just to follow up here, is like, is it kind of telling as far as like, okay, like if he were unhappy or if he were holding out for a better offer, he doesn't show and he risks incurring fines for missing a mandatory team activity. But he does show up. He ain't trying to give away the money he's got already.
Right.
Is it? Can I read into it that it's like maybe he just doesn't want to do a contract right now? As odd as that is, as unusual as that is, when somebody's trying to give you that deal, maybe he's like, nah, I want to get my bag when there's an even bigger bag to get. If that makes sense.
I think you can read into it that way. Like, I think like I said, even the Ravens are like, we don't get it. Like, they're perplexed. They're like, they don't. And when you talk through that sort of avenues with them, like, hey, let's talk this out logically, unless you're holding some cards that I don't know about. Let's talk about this logically. Why could he be doing this? The Ravens see that. They see, they're sitting there going, hey, there's some other quarterback contracts that are coming in. The franchise tag number is going to be remarkably attractive if he really wanted to push it that far, and we were going to tag him in 2020, what it would be 2023 now. If we're going to tag him in 2023, it's going to be a big tag. I mean, it's $35 million north, maybe $40 million for the franchise tag by the time it rolls around in 2023. So I think they understand that. Like, if this is about just maxing it out, that makes sense to them. If it is about Lamar Jackson not wanting to be there, having some issue with the franchise, they don't understand that, because they're not getting any indication that he's unhappy with the team or the coaching staff or anything that's going on in the organization. That would be news to them. So I think, it's crazy that we're all still trying to deduce what exactly is going on with Lamar. But let's just take the NFL for what it is and history for what it is and contract negotiations for what they are. Follow the money, right? If he's betting on himself right now, he's going to make a hell of a lot of money as long as he's able to stay on the field and play at a near MVP level.
Okay, let's play a game here, though. Lamar Jackson. Let's say Lamar Jackson does want to stay, and just magically, he said, "I'm ready to do a contract right now. June 13th, I'm ready to do a contract with the Baltimore Ravens." What kind of numbers are we talking about? What neighborhood are we in? Are we in Deshaun Watson neighborhood? Where are we going? And what are we looking at?
I would dial him in at $45 to $50 million. It would be Deshaun Watson neighborhood. But that's another thing too that is going to be interesting to see how complicated the Kyler Murray deal is. Which I told you guys before. He showed up today, and I do think that's going to get done. If you listen to the Cardinals, they've been optimistic, and Steve Keim has said, on the record, off the record, like, he has been confident, like, hey, just give it time. It's going to get done. That's how he's felt. It's going to be interesting, though, to see whichever quarterback, deal comes first, and it would seem to be Kyler, to see now how Deshaun Watson's deal has changed that negotiation. Because if you're Kyler Murray, you're now sitting there going, yeah, you know what? I'd like a fully guaranteed deal. Deshaun got it. Like, why can't I get a fully guaranteed deal? If you're a top 10 quarterback, you should be saying,
every top 10 quarterback Every top 10 quarterback that does not have 24 sexual assault lawsuits against him should be trying to get a fully guaranteed deal.
Yeah, that should be the standard now, fully guaranteed
deal. That's why all those owners were pissed, right? Because it's just like, what am I going to tell Joe Burrow? What am I going to tell Justin Herbert? What am I going
to, the Cleveland Browns and Jimmy Haslam, like I told you when I was at the owners meetings after that all came down, and I watched, Jerry Jones and Arthur Blank, and I watched some people kind of roll by Jimmy Haslam without a hey, how you doing? Without a hello.
Did they bump him? Did they bump him by accident?
It felt a little cold.
Or mumble under their breath. This dude right here.
If he had textbooks in his hands, they would have been slapped out of him. Okay, I would have told you that.
A kick me sign on his back.
Yeah. So it's now you're gonna see though. How does that Watson contract come in? Because as important as the Watson contract is, I think people should understand the one that comes after it is equally as important, because that is going to decide whether or not the Watson contract is an outlier or whether it is now a standard. Because you know what? Yeah, exactly right, Michael. If the second contract is similar to what Watson got, and particularly considering the guarantees, that is now your precedent. That's bedrock.
Meanwhile, what do you make of Tyreek Hill's kind of landing on thick on a lot of levels? Grass is greener. We knew it was literally greener for him in Miami, but the idea that he wasn't utilized properly in Kansas City, and then that he feels like in some respects he upgraded to Tua Tagovailoa, who he claims is more accurate, which, all right, I'm going to use this in another context, Michael. If it is, I ain't seen it, but okay. Maybe. But, I mean, what is Tyreek Hill just cozying up to his quarterback? Or is there some truth to it? What are they saying in Kansas City, for that matter?
What's the lyric? Love the one you're with?
Eagle flies with the dove.
He's loving the one. That's right. He's loving the one he's with. There's no doubt about that. I mean, first off, if I'm Tua, okay, I'm probably sliding up to Tyreek Hill and just saying, "Yo, man, like it's all right." Like like
you ain't got to lie to kick it, bro.
But let's just not, let's not provide comparisons for people now to make, moving into next season, because that's going to be a thing now. Okay, like listen, every Kansas City fan
was already a thing.
I mean, it was, right, exactly. It was already a thing. And now he said, well, don't worry about the arm, but accuracy. So now it's going to be an accuracy thing. Like, it's like everyone's going to be looking at Tua's accuracy. And, look, the not being used. Come on, man. Let's be honest. Like, this is wide receiver 101. It's always A.J. Brown. I'm the best receiver that's ever played for you. I mean, I'm sorry, but my boy Derek Mason played for the Titans. This is just how wide receivers operate. So to me, the idea that he was like, I could have caught more, I could have done more, I could have had more, that's just germane, I think, to the elite levels of the position. I'm fine with that. I don't care about that. Any wide receiver will always tell you their numbers could have been better than what they ultimately were. And by the way, he had some drops, by the way. I just want to say there were a couple of times where he could have caught things and maybe he would have had better numbers if he was just held onto a ball, if we're going to be completely honest. And that's what the Chiefs might say. maybe behind closed doors, they might say, catch the ones we throw to you. In terms of, I just think the bigger deal is the Tua thing. Like, I think he just needs to stop engaging people on Tua and just kind of let it be. Go out, ball out, help make Tua a great player, and don't have to speak on it, and especially don't compare him to Patrick Mahomes in any way, shape, or form. That's a mistake.
I mean, he's comparing Tua to Patrick Mahomes. They haven't been in pads yet, right? They haven't put on pads. So, I was
pretty accurate, too, in shorts, by the way.
Yeah, right. I mean, you got a guy in shorts and a T-shirt. Yeah, he can do a lot of wonderful things until you give him pads. But let me ask you this, because it seems like this was only a matter of time. He was bringing up some stuff, some granular things. I'm like, man, well, okay, what are we talking about here? Hey, they wouldn't let me go see in Kansas City. They wouldn't let me see my grandfather who had prostate cancer. But I asked Mike McDaniel now, and he says, yeah, go ahead and go. One, I say, what are you asking to get out of now? The season hasn't even started.
Right.
And you're already asking to get out of something now. And were there bigger issues in Kansas City that maybe, I don't know if it was Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid, Mahomes, they were able to keep them pressed down to protect themselves and to protect Tyreek from himself?
Well, first off, Bieniemy he's a tough coach, okay? Like, I think people should understand that. Like, he's a hell of a motivator, but he's also, he coaches guys hard. Like, this is part of Eric Bieniemy that I think people haven't, necessarily become accustomed to. But when you talk to players, they'll tell you, like, got a little, I mean, he's not like, we're not talking like Todd Haley, Greg Williams, like kind of craziness, like nothing like that. But, he'll get up in your kitchen and he'll coach you hard. And sometimes there are players that aren't always going to like to hear that, or at times they'll kind of feel pissed off about it. I don't think it necessarily lingers. I don't know that's necessarily an Eric Bieniemy thing. I don't know. Like my biggest thing when I heard him start to talk about, as you said, the granular things, the things that maybe are going on behind the scenes that he's upset about. I will say this about the Chiefs. They stuck by him at a very difficult time. Yeah. Okay. When that audio tape comes out and the Chiefs are saying, hey, wait, let it be heard in its totality. We've got snippets of it, this, that, and the other. Not only did they stand by him at that time, they then paid him afterward. And, remember, that was before his first big contract extension. And so the organization sits there and they go, man, we feel like in terms of good faith measures, we were there. Like, we were there for you. And we paid you and we stuck by you. And so I think if they were being completely honest about it, they'd probably they would tell you they're a little disappointed that it's not as amicable as it could be. And it's certainly not from their end. It's from his end. Like, I feel like I don't know if Tyreek Hill feels like he has to justify moving on from Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and that offense and the dynamic duo that those two players were. And so he's sort of like, well, there's a reason why I'm here, and it's not just money. Like, think about that for a second. Like, because a lot of people are going to go, well, feels like you're downgrading from organizations. Feels like you're downgrading at quarterback. You're upgrading in terms of, the coach, you don't know. We'll see Mike McDaniel. I mean, he might be fantastic as a head coach. A player
ain't going to be Andy Reid in year one. That's a downgraded coach, too.
If you don't want to, I'm sure none of us wants to hear we just did something for the money, right? Oh, we're worse off now than we were before, but we took the money,
Depends on how much.
Okay, right.
No, I hear you. No, I hear you.
But you still, even if it is just about the money, you still want to justify it in ways where you're like, well, I feel like I have a little more freedom here. I feel like, I think it's human nature.
Last question I got for you before we let you go is like the Chiefs, lowest of keys. Do they feel like they're better off? They don't have a Tyreek Hill, but Hardman's got the speed, Schuster, MVS, Justin Ross, and Sky Moore, promising rookies. I mean, Josh Gordon it's like, I use that word again, egalitarian. Could it be dynamic in its own way without, Patrick Mahomes having to force feed it to Tyreek Hill? As great as he was with the ball in his hands, taking the top off. Okay, I should just shut up now. You shaking your head, no. They're gonna miss Tyreek Hill. That's it.
I'm gonna be real.
Stop trying to.
I'm gonna be real. They do not think they are better off without Tyreek Hill.
Okay, cool. The feeling is not mutual then.
No. I mean, look, they're definitely silver lining it. Okay, they're sort of like, salary.
That's
what
I was
help.
doing.
Like, I mean, and they're sitting there going, we do have young players. We have guys that we feel like, can Patrick Mahomes help bring a little bit more out of, Valdez-Scantling? Maybe, but I mean, he also played with Rodgers. It's not like he didn't play for a great quarterback before. You talk about Hardman. Okay, well, Hardman's been there. So it's like, okay, like doing, where we thought that by now they had sort of seen what they were going to get out of him. And they're still kind of like, all right, come on, what are we going to get? So, they're not fools, okay? They know that this was a special player. He was the kind of dynamic player that defenses had to plan for, and that they could streamline a lot of things through him. And by the way, you could never cover him one-on-one. That was a huge mistake. So he automatically accounted for 2, if not 3 players on defense, and often how schemes shifted. So you know, they're not going to say they're better off, but they're going to try. Right. They're going to hope
not better.
They're going to hope that it turns out good. Yeah. Listen, here's the thing. They're going to sit there and go, well, let's wait and see how things look in 2024, because now I think they feel like they at least have some options and some flexibility moving forward. And you know, I don't think they want to measure this in 2022. I think they want to look, you know, a couple years down the road when Hill's a little bit older, and we'll see how healthy he is and what the salary scale looks like.
Okay, I wouldn't put it past them to be dynamic differently. You were always dynamic, my friend. You be dropping bombs left and right.
I don't know about that.
Appreciate you, Charles.
All right, guys.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.